Hey guys, I love this time of year because I get to start planting stuff. I get to start my seeds. I just love that. That's just like after a long winter, it just kind of like it just feels like you're just taking a monkey off your back. You know what I mean? But anyways, what I wanted to do today was I'm going to be starting actually quite a few things. I'm going to be starting tomatoes and peppers and whatnot. But one thing that I wanted to show you, I don't do a lot of like seed starting videos because the YouTube is just saturated with people saying, "Oh, I'm starting my seeds." Oh. I don't know why people have to. I mean, I don't know. It's completely boring. And a lot of people ask me, "Why don't you do seed starting videos and stuff?" Because there's just a billion of them out there, and I don't want to do a lot of the same stuff everybody else is doing. So, but what I am going to show you today is how I start my peas, and I use what's called a method called pre-sprouting. Okay, so basically I take and I get the seeds sprouted with no soil or anything. I get them sprouted first, and then when I plant them, they've already broken the seed has already broken its dormancy, and it's already starting to grow. And I can get a good week or two jump on my planting by doing it this way. And so I'm going to be planting a lot of seeds, but I'm going to stagger them. So I'm going to do some today, and then I'll do some next week and whatnot. But today I'm going to be doing 5 different varieties, and I'm getting buzzed by bees. That's the only bad thing about spring is the bees. But anyways, I'm going to bring you in closer, and I will show you how the whole pre-sprouting method works. It's really simple. Okay, so what you're going to need is you're going to need a paper towel, a Sharpie, a Ziploc bag, and of course your seeds, your peas. I'm going to write on here what these are. These are dwarf gray. Okay, so what you do is you can take this into the faucet and then just soak it and then wring it out so it's wring dry. But what I do is I just take my sprayer here, my garden sprayer, and then just soak it down good with my garden sprayer. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to start a bunch of these. I've got a whole bucket of these things, and so I can be pretty liberal with these and not have to worry about it. And even that, I mean, that doesn't seem like much, but the amount of plants I'm going to get from this, it'll just blow your mind. How many? I can feed a whole neighborhood with just these with just these small amount of seeds. So. And then I just fold it up like that, and then I take and put it in my Ziploc bag, and then I zip this up and leave about a ½ inch on one end for a little bit of airflow. It's probably not necessary, but that's just the way I've always done it year after year, and it works well. It just gives it a little bit of air. And then I'm going to set these aside. Now I'm going to check these every day. I'm going to check them actually, because you'd be surprised at how quickly these germinate inside of here. So we'll come back. I'll check these every day, and when I start getting germination, I'll go ahead and shoot another video. And so I've got 5 different varieties here that I'm doing. You know, look at this. It's amazing that if you kind of play your cards right and work with the weather, you can get a full production of lettuce and whatnot in the wintertime. A lot of people say you can't grow. This is the end of life cycle of a bunch of my spinach. This is my speckled spinach that was in this raised bed, and I had that greenhouse. If you notice my video, I'll put a link below, the greenhouse for raised beds was on here, and I got all kinds of cuttings from this spinach. But now it's 91 degrees here in Southern Oregon, which is unbelievable. I don't remember it being this hot we've had a lot of dry, warm weather. And anyways, this stuff is starting to wilt and whatnot, so I decided I was going to pull it out because this is going to be where I'm going to plant my peas anyways. And look at this, this is a whole bunch of leftovers. So you can eat spinach all year long if you just kind of work the weather. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead now. This is 4 days later after putting these peas in these Ziploc bags. So I'm going to bring you in closer, and I'm going to show you what they look like and then how I plant them. It's easy peasy, all right? I'm going to throw these in the compost. Okay, well, I went and dropped this in the dirt, so anyway, These are my super sugar snap peas. Now I went and planted my Sugar Ann, my Lincoln, and then my Oregon Giant. In the 4th row here, I'm planting my super sugar snap. Now what I do is, this is 100% compost. That's all I ever put in my raised beds. And I just go ahead and take my hand like this and dig a trench. And then I'm going to plant these about 1.5 inches or so down. Let me show you what happens with these after just about 4 days. This is what these look like. So you've got the roots started here, right there. The root comes out, and then this is going to be the plant, the green part. So I'm going to go ahead and throw these in. I'm going to bury these just under the dirt like this. So let me show you where I can get you in the camera here. And I plant these about 6 to 8 inches apart, just like that, down there, and I just cover them up. And don't worry, they'll find the sun. A lot of people may think, well, that's a little bit too close together, 6 inches. Well, it really isn't, because peas do just fine when I grow them like a hedge. They seem to just keep on growing, so I've never had any problems growing them 6 inches apart. If you're worried about it and you want to give them a little bit more space, then go for it. Give them a foot. But I don't worry about it. And I always just plant enough to fill one edge of this raised bed. In fact, I've actually got an extra one here. So anyways, just like that. And I always have just 1 row. And believe it or not, 1 row of these peas, well, I have different varieties. So I'm going to have 5 rows. 5 rows of peas in this bed, and then I'll put my trellis on. I've showed my trellis before. And so when they start growing, they'll go up the trellis. And this thing will be just pelted 6 feet high with, well, maybe not 6 feet, but it's going to be pelted high with peas. Now, some of the peas are actually going to get pretty tall. Some of them are dwarf, and so they won't get very tall at all. And what happens is I put the dwarf, I usually put them on the outside where the sun is. So anyways, I got 1 more row here, and this is where I'm going to put my last variety, which is, I put it way over here so I couldn't grab it easy. Well, here's my dwarf gray. And look at these. It really depends on the different varieties that you have, whether or not how fast they grow. So look at this. And I actually did too many in the bag, but you want to put a lot in here because they don't cost anything. And so I've got a lot of them, so I'll just take the healthiest looking ones and go ahead and plant these. And I actually could put these a lot closer than 6 inches, because as they start to grow, some of them may not look quite as healthy. So I'm just going to go ahead and plant a bunch of these, and I don't really care how close they are. And just like this. And get those just underneath. You want to be careful when you pull these off. Sometimes if you let them dry out a little bit, they'll stick to the paper towel, which you don't want them to do. Then I'll put 1 more in here. This looks like a good one. And there we go. And then cover them up really good. And then water them in well. And they're going to start sprouting up really quick. You know, I really should weed whack, shouldn't I? I still haven't got a new camera, by the way, so I can't tell if I'm in the frame exactly or if my head is... I may be like from here down and just talking. I don't know. But anyways, there it is. Planting peas. Just pre-sprout them. And then take them and plant them in, and you're going to get a good week or 2 jump on them. Because if you put them directly in now, with the really cold nights and then the warm days, that variation in temperature, they're just it's gonna take a lot longer for them to sprout. Whereas if you pre-sprout them in Ziploc bags and put them in the house where it's about 70 degrees all the time, they'll sprout quickly within 4 days or so. Otherwise, they could take up to 2 or 3 weeks. And so I'll get a jump on those. And these will be coming up soon, and I'm going to have peas galore this summer. Now, a lot of people may think, well, okay, you've got, what, 6 times 5, you got 30 plants. That's not a lot. Yeah, it is. Some of these are going to get pretty tall. My dwarf, of course, won't. My dwarf will, they'll only get a foot, I think about 18 inches or so is what the last time I grew them was. And so, but they're still going to, I'm still going to trellis them, because even then it's they'll start falling over and sprawl. Sometimes I let them do that and sometimes I don't. But anyways, that's going to be a lot of plants. I'm going to have a lot of peas, and it doesn't take a lot of plants to produce. But there are some people that like to shell them if they're not like the snap peas and whatnot. You don't eat them the shell. You want to have like a garden pea. Then garden peas, if you're going to grow those, then you might want a lot more plants. Because even though they get taller, most of the varieties I've seen are taller, it takes a lot more because you're opening them up and you're throwing the shell away. So you might want to grow more of those. But this is going to be plenty for me and my family. So anyways, there it is. Pre-sprouting and growing peas. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll catch y'all later.